Hello, everybody. Good evening. We're sorry for the delays that happened last week, and today we have Ms. Ridhi here with us. And she's a certified counselor. She's a CBT wellness practitioner. She also has experience in parent-child counseling. She's certified to counsel on how to cope with grief and loss. Our topic today. She's also a writer and blogger. She's featured with the Indian Express from the beginning of her career, and she currently also is a writer who works with the with various publications. Good evening, Ms. Riddhi. How are you?
Hi, good evening. I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine as well. So, did I miss anything, or would you like to add anything there?
No, I'm so glad that you introduced me in such a humble and nice way. And thank you so much for having me here.
Yes, ma'am. It's
I
our
think
honor.
it's the right time to talk about the topic you chose because we all are suffering directly or indirectly. We all are grieving. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to talk about it with you.
Yes. So yes, and our topic today is grief and how to deal with grief. How to deal with grief and loss, basically, during the pandemic. So during the global pandemic, there's a palpable sense that collective grief has emerged amongst people. And grief experts say that grief is actually multiple feelings that we must manage to overcome these tough, difficult times that we are facing. Right. So we'll jump right into the questions here. Yes, ma'am. So
Yes.
my first question to you would be: uh, once a person is grieving, what can get in the ways of how people deal with that grief?
Yeah, okay. As you said, Bhagesh, that we all are grieving. So, what is grief? It is important to understand that it is a natural emotional response to someone's loss of someone's life or something. So, we can grieve upon not just upon loss of life, but it can be on various things, on various levels. So we have to understand that what we are grieving from first. Second is when we are talking about COVID, so majorly we are grieving about loss of lives, loss of people around us, our loved ones. So here we are going to deal in a very different way because earlier what used to happen was when there was a death. So in every culture there used to be a ritual for mourning. But now in COVID times, it's all the way different. We are not getting time to follow the rituals. We are unable to do that. We are unable to see the body even, and that's the most difficult part that we can't see the body. So here the steps would be completely different. Here to deal with the grief would be completely different than the normal times. So getting back to your question, what can get in the way of grieving is grieving can be both expressed in healthy and unhealthy ways. So you have to see and you have to be very sure about that you are grieving in a very healthy way. You have to make an emotional release and not block it by using creative ways. It can be writing. It can be, some people may choose to use social media to grieve. Like they may post pictures, they may write about their loved ones whom they have lost. So grieving should be in a healthy way, and it should not, I mean, you should make sure that you have an emotional release and not emotional block. So one objective here is that you don't have to get rid of this emotion because it is a basic human response to someone's loss. So objective of coping with grief is not to get rid of it, right? You just have to make it a part of yourself and then deal with it.
Yes, like rightly you said, they have to. It's not an emotion that you have to get rid of, right?
Yes.
So my question is related to that. So when you say that we don't have to get rid of it, some people do tend to go in that direction and avoid having emotions altogether. So how can avoiding emotions get in the way of dealing with grief?
So as I said, Bhagesh, that you don't have to make an emotional block. You have to deal with it by releasing out your emotions. You have to make it an emotional release in the form of healthy ways, creative ways. Um, so if I can explain you with an example. Suppose you are holding a paper in your hand. I mean, can everyone see me with this? Okay. So I can't hear you. Okay. So you're holding a paper in your hand very tightly and you are trying to push that away from you. Okay.
Yes.
So what will happen like this, that your arms will start paining. You will feel a kind of strain in your body by pushing that away from you. Okay. So now let it come closer to you a bit. So now your arms are a bit relaxed, your
Yes.
body is a bit relaxed, but still you are feeling something, right? Because you're holding it. Now keep that paper in your lap and let it relax. Your hands are free, your body is free, that paper is in your lap, right?
Yes.
So similar is with our emotions, because emotions are basic human experience which you have to understand. Everyone out there have to understand that you need not to get rid of. And grief is that emotion that the more you try to push it away, the more you try to get rid of it, the more trouble it will create in your body and in your mind. So here what is suggestible is you let that emotion relax in yourself, make it part of yourself, and then you will see that you are trying to do the other routine parts of your life by coping up with that emotion.
Yes. Yes. I think yeah, everyone can resonate with that.
Yes.
Uh, and there are different people that try to grieve in different ways. Sometimes
Yes.
people put their concentration in different areas of their life, like overworking. Like if they are like, now I have to get on with my life, and I have this job to do. So, does overworking on the job help overcoming grief?
No, no, never. Because as I said earlier, that you have to make it a part of your life. You have to see the person you lost. Uh, uh, you can never make up with the loss, right? So
Yes.
if you're trying to, some people try to avoid the conversations. Some people try to avoid the thought of that person or the memories of that person. So by doing all these things, you are creating troubles for yourself, because more you try to push that feeling away, the more it will create, it is psychologically established fact that the more you put focus on something, the more you start thinking about it and the more it comes in your behavior and emotion. So stop, make it part of yourself. Don't distract yourself with other things. Do your regular chores. Don't distract yourself. Don't try to avoid that emotion, because when you are saying overworking here, somewhere you are trying to avoid that emotion. Somewhere you are you are running away from that emotion, which will not help. So just try and make it a part of you. Try and deal with that emotion by allowing that emotion to be yours, and focus on your routine work, and I'm sure you'll be able to deal it more effectively.
Yes, I think grief has to become a part of yourself. You have to
Yes,
acknowledge it,
yes,
and then you move forward. Right?
yes,
There are a
yes.
few people who are incapable of getting this on the first attempt because it's been such an immense loss in their life for the first time that they don't know how to deal with it. Sometimes they may go into using of drugs or alcohol or other substances in a way of dealing with emotional discomfort. So will that help them in any way, and how is, if it doesn't, how is it bad for them?
As I said in the very beginning of the session, that there are healthy ways and there are unhealthy ways to deal with the grief. So you have to focus on the healthy ways of grieving. I'm sure uh, you will tempt to go into unhealthy ways, like substance use, alcohol, drugs, or any other thing. But that is again the distraction. This is not going to help you. So try and use, healthy ways can be writing, painting. You can paint a picture about the person, of the person. You can use social media for grieving. So there are a lot of, you can, sometimes if you're feeling sad, some people choose to dance. So some people may think that, how can you be so happy, and but this is their way of releasing an emotion. So choose the healthy ways to grieve, and unhealthy ways like substance use, alcohol, drug. These are, by this you are just distracting yourself, and this is again going to trouble your body and not going to help you in any way. So you have to be very clear that you are going for the healthy ways to grieve.
Yes, I think generally also use of such substances is not advised. But in
Yes.
case of uh, grieving, a person doesn't might not have control or doesn't have that sense of responsibility when they do such stuff. And as you rightly said, they have to look for positive ways of grieving, right?
And also, one thing, people may troll you over social media. People may judge you that,
Yeah,
why are you putting pictures? Your so and so is no more, and you are on social media for so constant. But we have to understand that, we all are different individuals. One thing may work for you, may not work for me. So try and figure out what is working for you, what way of grieving is working for you. But then definitely unhealthy ways are going to get you into more and more trouble. So there are stages of grieving process. So first is the complete denial. At the first instance, you completely sometimes deny that, this cannot happen to me. So another stage is anger. You start getting angry, why is this happening to me? Why God this may made chose me to for this suffering? Then is bargain. So we start bargaining that, please get that person back to me, and I will stop using this, I will stop eating this. So we try and use that bargain thing. Next is, some people may go into depression. They just stay busy in their own thoughts, in their own flashbacks of memories. And
yeah,
next is acceptance. So I know it's not easy, I know, but as I said earlier, that over a period of time, why these rituals were made, because the more we talk about it, the more easily we, and the more easily we start accepting it, that, yes, each day when we are talking about it, we are releasing our emotion. And one of the emotional release, which I would say healthy, is crying. So
Yes.
crying is one of the healthy ways of emotional release. It is like a myth that people who cry are weak. But
Yes.
I think when we were young, when we were child, so if something got hurt to us, our head got banged on, so very easily we would cry. But as we were growing, there this whole conditioning came into in our existence that you're not supposed to cry, especially with men. So
Yes.
when we're talking about substance, I would want to add here that there is so much of this social pressure on men, especially, that they are not supposed to cry. So I just want to tell here through your medium that crying is it's a very normal and your body reaction to that emotion. So if you are crying over something, or maybe some loss, and if you are, if you're grieving and you are crying, so that is a very healthy sign that you are mentally and emotionally healthy, because you are responding to that. You're responding to that. Your body is and your mind is responding to that emotion. So crying is always recommendable, and especially for men out there, I would say that it's time to break that norm. It's time to break that social conditioning and social expectations that men are not supposed to cry, and all those men who cry are weak. So I just want to tell that crying is the sign of strength.
Yes. Thank you. I think I lost you there for a moment.
Yes, yes, yes,
I
yes,
was.
yes.
Yes,
So
like you rightly said, one must accept their feelings, and crying
yes.
is a good sense of acknowledging that feeling and helping resolve that feeling as well. Right.
Yes, yes.
So sometimes, as you said before, there are stages of grief where one feels anger and resentment or different
Denial.
or denial. Yes. Uh, so my question would be, how do we acknowledge both these negative feelings and move on towards the positive feelings that will eventually help us overcome grieving?
I want to correct you here that there are no negative feelings.
Okay.
Whatever feelings you are experiencing in yourself, let's just try to own it, because they belongs to you. And you need, as I mentioned earlier, that you need not to get rid of your emotions, whatever kind they are. So there are no negative feelings. There are uh, positive and negative ways. There can be healthy and unhealthy ways. But when it comes to emotions and feelings, because they are coming from you very naturally in response to something that has happened to you, so they are always acceptable. And you just have to know and have to understand how to deal with them in a positive way. So feelings are always uh, you cannot categorize your feelings, because you have to, until and unless you don't own your feelings, that means you can't own yourself. So just accept it, and make it a part of yourself. Own your feelings, and then try to deal with it in healthy way.
Yes. Thank you for letting me know that there are no negative feelings
Yes.
as in such. Like generally we associate it's like a natural thought that getting angry or getting having like different feelings. What we say, not grief. Like anger. Basically, anger is a wrong
Anger
feeling,
is
and
considered not so acceptable feeling or
yes,
emotion, or when it comes to our behavior, it is not so acceptable by the society. But here I want to say that anger is again human emotion.
yes,
And you can't get rid of that.
Yes.
The more you, as I explained, you don't have to push any of your feeling away. It's all, you have to understand that you need to understand the ways to manage it and cope with it. So anger can also be healthy and unhealthy. So you just have to, have to be aware of each and every emotion. As I say that, one of the ways to cope with grief is, acknowledge your feelings, accept your feelings, and name it, label it, and locate it. Name that feeling, name that emotion, label that emotion. It's sadness, frustration, anger, and locate it, that where in your body is, you are experiencing that emotion. Suppose if I say about grief here, so most of the times what I have seen with my, in all my sessions is, people who are grieving, they feel a kind of pressure in and around their chest. Some may feel a lump over here in their throat. Some may feel trembling in their hands and legs. Some may feel kind of, something in their stomach. So you have to be very mindful. You have to watch out that where in your body are you experiencing all those emotions and all those feelings. Once you get aware of them, once you know all the symptoms, uh, because there are physical and emotional symptoms of grief. So emotional symptoms we have already talked about, that there is this fear, there is this anger, there is this, disbelief, there is this depression. These are the emotional symptoms. As far as the physical symptoms are concerned, there are frequent flashbacks. You can watch out on your behavior, and there are frequent flashbacks. You avoid the conversation, you avoid thinking about that person. There are kind of nightmares and, dreams about that person. You start dreaming frequently about the deaths around. Like some, you have heard, like maybe in COVID times we are more of, thinking, and and in our nightmares also we are experiencing that, some of our closed ones, that fear has come in, that I may not lose someone in my family, in my loved ones. So you have to watch out these behaviors. And if you see that there is this red flag, and you need to, you need to seek the professional help. So once you are aware of all these things, only then you will be able to deal with it. And if there is a red flag in any of your behavior or thought which is creating trouble in your day-to-day routine, then I think it's the time that you need to seek a grief counselor, or you need to seek a therapist for that.
Yes, I think rightly, as you said, name it, label it, and locate it. So
Locate
these,
it, right?
these should help everyone. Like everyone will be able to do this self-assessment, right? Um,
Yes.
if this assessment goes over the limit, they should seek professional help.
And also, I want to add one thing very important here, that they should practice self compassion. As I told you, that as a grief counselor, what we do with the sessions and the clients is, wherever in their body they are feeling the strain, so you have to touch that part with one of your hands, and you have to, give all the love to yourself, all the kindness, all the compassion to yourself. That, if for example I say that, Bhagesh, you will be fine, Bhagesh, it's okay, you can miss that person, you can miss that place in your life. So you have to practice self compassion. It is very important. And another thing is, I know it is not easy to deal with the loss. It takes time, and make it a part of your self. And one way to deal with it, you can make their value system as part of your life. Like the person whom you have lost, the value they lived up for, you can make it a part of your life. You can live that routine, and you will see that you are experiencing that person living through you. So make their value system, as suppose if I say that someone you lost was very disciplined, and you have always wanted to live that disciplined life but could never gather that strength and that mindset to go with it. So I think one way to deal with grief is making their value system to be part of you, and let them live through you. Let uh, their value system live within you, and you will feel that over the period of time you're feeling comfortable with all those feelings, all those memories, and all those emotions. So purpose here is not, objective here is not to get rid of it, but to make it part of you. Let that emotion, let that person live in you. And yeah, these are the few ways how we can cope up with the grief and loss.
Yes, like you said, the these guidances or like advices that you gave for a person to deal with grief, uh, how long so my question would be like, how long would it generally take for a person to be functional again, or move on with their lives and carrying that feeling across, but just being functional or being out there in the world again? Like if you've lost a loved one, like a uh, spouse, and you're currently not that old yet, and you have something to live for, how do you move on? Like how long would it take you to generally move on and basically get on with your life again?
This could be very subjective because we all are different individuals. So time period would vary from person to person, like how the way you have been, throughout life. And there is this, as you said, the loss of spouse. So in this case the dealing would be completely different, because if we talk about a female losing a husband, a wife losing a husband, she may not just go through that, depression or anxiety, but she may also go through fear that, how would I be able to manage my future, my finances. So there are a lot of other feelings that get attached to it, which is why it gets complicated. So it's not just one emotion, but just because of that one emotion, lot of other emotions come into, and we find it really, there is this whole mess, there is this whole chaos. And which is why we are not so able to manage with it, because there is this whole chaos that is going on, like how will I manage, how will I manage my kids, how will I manage my finances.
Yes, yes,
So here I would say, as getting back to your question, that you just have to give yourself that, that compassion, that time to yourself, and acceptance will come over a period of time. Don't try to get rid of that emotion. I would say that you can put a picture and see that picture every day, and try and talk to that picture every time you do something. Suppose, for example, as you said, that losing a spouse, every time you do something for yourself or for your kids, you can talk to that, you can talk to your partner over a picture, that, I did it today, I managed to do it today. So these small acts will enable you over the period of time to be comfortable. All we have to do is to be comfortable with these emotions. again and again I'm saying, don't try to get rid of those emotions. When it comes to grief and loss, you should not try to you should not put all your energies in getting rid of those emotions. Just let them relax. Over the period of time, you will see that you are getting comfortable with those emotions and you are able to manage all the daily routine.
Yes. And yes, so like you said, you should uh, con- uh, like if you put a picture, you should talk to that
Yes.
picture. So eventually, it will be. So can we or confide in a trusted person about the loss, and like should we express our feelings openly with them, or should we write a journal entry about them in certain cases?
I
Does that?
think as you said that yes, you can talk about your feelings over, but then that person should be someone whom you can rely on and whom you can feel that they are hearing you out with all the acceptance and non-judgmental way. So this is very important to understand here. You cannot talk to every second person, so that may get you in trouble. So you have to choose people very wisely whom you can trust and hear you out and cannot take advantage out of that. Yes, writing always helps. Writing journal, to write a journal you need to have a lot of vocabulary of a lot of positive words which may not come out during that period. So whatever you are feeling, you can write it out. As I said, that over a social media, because I've seen some people post pictures of the of their childhood, and they just write over it. So you can use all these mediums to get yourself comfortable, to have an emotional release. So yeah, you can always go with writing. You can always go with talking to someone, and I would say that someone should be trustworthy, and never to forget that you always have a professional help to seek out for.
Yes. So before, sometimes people feel that they should, if they can't confide with their parents and they don't want to, talk to a person, they just want someone, who's gone through the same things that they have. Like there are people who have experienced similar kinds of losses, right?
Yes.
So my question would be, how do people find such groups where they see people who are going through same loss that they have gone through, and how can they confide in them?
I think social media is one of the platforms where you can find like-minded people or someone who is going through same emotion, who can understand. But it is also very important to understand here that uh, ways to deal with it would be different for
Yeah.
everyone. So yes, you can find all these groups over online medium, social media, like-minded people, where you feel that your feelings are accepted, and mm, you can feel that you are getting relieved by hearing to others going through the same thing. So but then this may help for some time, but yes, seeking out help, professional help, talking to a grief counselor, writing, painting, dancing. The more you try to deal with it within your own self, in your own way, the more effectively you will be able to cope with it.
Yes, like rightly you said, everyone will grieve in their own different ways, and uh,
Yes.
in certain scenarios, even after long prolonged periods of time, uh, even when doing such activities, even mourning or like crying uh, helps reduce this. But for some certain people are incapable of moving on in certain scenarios. So my this is my last question. So how would, like, how would they identify that they need professional help? How would they and how would they start tackling that situation, and how should they reach out to a professional to get help?
As I said, that if you have to be very mindful about your body and your thoughts and your emotions you need not to get rid of. But if that, because of that one emotion, you are thinking a lot of other things, and this has become chaos in your mind, and you are unable to concentrate, you lack motivation in your routine, you don't feel like going out, you don't feel like meeting people, like you start experiencing that social anxiety, you start avoiding social gatherings, and you just more and more of you feel like staying in your bed, in your room, and thinking, and going deep into your own thoughts. So I think that is the red flag where you need to seek a professional help. You need to be very you have to watch out your behavior, and when you feel that something is not right, and I'm unable to perform in my routine. Hello, I think I lost you.
Yeah, hi. Sorry for that. uh,
Yeah,
can you hear me now?
yes, I
Is it
can.
working?
Yes, I can.
So where did I lose you? I'm really sorry about that.
Yes,
You were saying something about
yes.
when, about the exact time that we should reach out to a counselor.
Yes, so I was saying that you have to watch out your thoughts and your behavior. If because of after losing someone, you are unable to talk about it, you are avoiding the conversations, you are withdrawing yourself socially, and you are getting irritated easily, and if you have started because of that sadness, you have started keeping yourself locked, you create an emotional block. So that is the red flag, that you need to seek professional help, you need to talk to a grief counselor. And just because of that one, emotions are something you need not to get rid of. Let it be very clear through your medium, that we confuse it, that we need to, we need to be happy when we are grieving. So here, it is not like that. With every emotion, whatever you are experiencing, experience it, feel it, own it, accept it, that these are your emotions. These are your feelings. You need not to get rid of, you need not to push them away. But because of those emotions, if you have started thinking about rest of the things, and because of those thoughts, you are experiencing change in your behavior, like anger, more of irritation, lack of motivation to step out of the house, social withdrawal, and easily you get irritated, loss of appetite, binge eating, sudden weight loss, weight gain. So these are the few symptoms you need to watch out if you are experiencing it. If you are experiencing, if you are seeing someone around you with all these things, please talk to that person and suggest that person to seek professional help. Only that is the way out to it.
Uh, yes, thank you so much. I think I have definitely learned a lot, and definitely people watching it will learn a lot, and they will be able to, grieve in their own way.
Yes,
As you said,
in
every
healthy
unique
ways,
and
in creative ways,
yes,
make it an emotional release and not emotional block. And one important thing, I'm sorry, interrupting
yes,
you in between. One important thing I wanted to mention is don't let anyone tell you how to feel,
yes,
right? And you
yes,
also don't tell yourself how to feel, because you are human. You will feel very naturally. That is a very natural human response to your emotions, to your body. So let it happen. Don't try to control it, don't try to push away it. Let them relax, and let them not try and not to come in your thoughts in the form of other emotions, and watch out your behavior.
yes. Thank you. I think everyone will appreciate that message, and everyone will follow it. So if so, we've reached the end of our session today. Uh, Thank you so much, Ms. Riddhi, for joining us and
It is
giving.
my pleasure. It is my pleasure, and I'm glad. I'm so thankful that you gave me this opportunity to talk about such a crucial and need of an hour topic, because yes, we all are suffering. We all are going through this, and I think it's very important to accept that we are all in this together. And let's just deal with it as a society and as a mankind in whole.
Yes,
Let's not troll each other. Let's follow the COVID appropriate behavior, and wearing mask and sanitizing and social distancing is not just the COVID appropriate behavior. I think being compassionate, not trolling, not following altruism. So these are also the COVID appropriate behavior. You need to understand, when there is so much of negativity around, let's just stay positive for each other. Let's just be with each other in this tough times.
yes. Uh, as you said, a rightly apt message for everyone that is watching. It's just not the physical aspect that you have to deal with, it's also the mental aspect.
Yes.
And mental health is a topic that we are trying to address here. And thank you so much, ma'am, for joining
Thank
us
you
today.
so much for having me here. Thank you so much.
Uh, yes, so all our audiences, you can follow Ms. Riddhi at Ridhi Sidana _ the counselor on Instagram. I'll put the link in the description below. You can like this video and share this video if you feel someone requires this. Uh, Someone will definitely require this, and you have to identify that person to help them overcome their grief and live with it, and basically be one with themselves
Yes.
during these COVID times. Uh, so thank you so much of everybody
Thank
for
you,
joining us,
Bhagesh. Thank
and
you, Collective Win, and thank you, Bhagesh.
thank you so much, ma'am. Take care, everybody. Have a good week, and see you next Sunday. Thank you.